The doves are crying, the sun is shining, and everything feels really, really great. Good morning everyone, welcome back to TalkNorwichCity. I hope you're doing well. I've got a busy day today, it's early, and I was like, oh, I haven't got time to make a video today, but I have to make time to talk about what we witnessed last night as Norwich City went 10 points clear at the top of the championship table. What a remarkable feat considering where we were a couple of weeks ago after losing at the hands of Swansea City at the Liberty. So I went and got myself a little coffee. Costa, I know, very poor form, but there we go. And I thought I want to discuss it because I'm really delighted with the way in which Norwich City applied themselves. It was a very strange game, wasn't it? I said on the watch along before that I was nervous, and I couldn't work out why. I'd been nervous ever since we'd beaten Rotherham, and I couldn't really work it out because Birmingham have been poor for the majority of the season. They sit just above the relegation places, so on paper you should be beating Birmingham, but as we all know in the championship and in football in general, it's not just what happens on paper, is it, where games are won and lost. And I think we've now reached that point in the season where you start to think even more irrationally than you did in the first place, and that's fine because football is about that, right? And things aren't simple, and there will be parts of the game that you can't quite work out, and that's fine. But I was just nervous for some reason, and I think the first half kind of showed me why I was nervous. The pitch was horrendous, as we knew from playing there the previous week against Coventry. It hadn't improved, and I think some people think that that's an excuse, and it is to an extent because both sides have to deal with that. But when you play the football in which Norwich City do, it's more of a hindrance than it is if you're lumping it long. So that wasn't ideal. I've just spotted a pheasant. I've never seen a pheasant in this park. That's amazing. So that didn't help. And the first half performance from Norwich was poor. And I think Daniel Farke would have been absolutely fuming from what he'd seen from Norwich. And yet we still at one point had the opportunity to go 2 goals ahead. And yeah, my brain was scrambled going in at half time because we'd been poor. We'd given up a whole host of opportunities. And yet I was frustrated that we weren't 2 goals ahead. And really, I should have been delighted that we weren't losing the game. I think Birmingham fans, that was a big moment for them last night because they're in a relegation scrap. They've been battling relegation for what seems like season upon season now. And they had an opportunity last night, and a big opportunity to beat the table toppers. And that would have been massive for them, but it wasn't to be. Thankfully, it wasn't to be. The goal from Pukki, the first goal, was phenomenal. It came against the run of play. It was a lovely ball from Yanulis, who I thought had his best 45 minutes in a Norwich City shirt in that first half last night. I thought he was excellent, defensively and going forwards, and we're seeing a lot more from him, which is brilliant. It's a lovely little ball threaded through from Kenny McLean, and the finish from Teemu is peak Teemu Pukki. I mean, it's on his weaker foot, it's a tight angle, it's away from Etheridge, it's in the only part of the net that you're really going to score. 1-0. Then the opportunity to go 2-0, Teemu Pukki again. And it's a terrible, terrible penalty. I feel like he's been caught in two minds there. I think he's wanted to go in the corner, then he's seen Etheridge move, so he's tried to go in the middle, and in the end picked neither spot. And hits it sort of like in between the quadrants, I'll say. So it was a terrible penalty, and at that moment I'm getting extra nervous because Birmingham are growing. They had a great chance through Scott Hogan, and then we finally do give the goal away. It was just so scrappy, and I was fuming because it was just a collection of terrible errors. Not terrible errors, but just very average errors, and errors you wouldn't expect to see from a Norwich City side. And I think when I watch Quest on a Saturday, you see them goals conceded week in, week out by multiple teams across the championship, and you take it for granted that that doesn't really happen with Norwich anymore. You don't see them conceding goals like that, which is brilliant. It was a poor pass from Hanley, a poor pass from Krul, poor from Zimmerman, and then it fumbles from Krul and it goes in. So you go into the half-time break 1-1. Fine. almost thankful you're not losing. The second half for me was the best managerial decisions made in a short space of time from Daniel Farke in his Norwich City career so far. And I don't say that lightly, but I also think it was the biggest win of the season so far, because if you lose that game or you draw that game, momentum changes, especially considering Brentford and Swansea don't play until this evening. So there was an opportunity to put an even bigger gap between Norwich and between Norwich and Brentford and Swansea and Watford. You could add in that pack as well. And we were up against it. I mean, the second half was better. We packed out the midfield a little bit more. Birmingham sat back. I think they got a bit nervous because they didn't want to lose, and in the end they did. So we weren't giving up as many opportunities, but we weren't creating anything. Then Onel comes on and injects a bit of goodness. Dowell comes on. Ida comes on. Hugel comes on. And suddenly the whole complexion of the game changes, and we were creating chances. And the goal to take the lead, sorry, I keep crouching to swap arms because I'm remarkably weak and this camera's quite heavy. That's a terrible close-up, isn't it? Look at the state of me. And the whole complexion changes. It's a lucky goal to score the second. And I say lucky, like we had luck go against us this season, so I don't feel bad in having the odd good break go our way. You know, there's been penalties go against us that haven't been penalties. Constantly think back to the Derby game at home where just everything went against us. So I don't mind, and you do create your own luck. I'm a big believer in that. But the second goal was very reminiscent of the goal Timu scored away at Leeds in 2018-19, where it takes a deflection. It's a shot on the edge of the box, takes a deflection, falls into the path of Pukki. He hits it into the back of the net. Of course, there were no fans there, so you couldn't clock from their reaction. But to me, it looked offside. Of course, it wasn't. And it's 2-1. Then we defended. Birmingham huffed and puffed. And the breakaway goal was beautiful, wasn't it, to make it 3-1. A brilliant defensive header from Jordan Hugel, who I think, although he hasn't played many minutes this season, the minutes he has played have been crucial. You look back at his goals against Bristol City, even the defensive work last night, he's clearly a squad player and he's clearly enjoying that. And I think Daniel Farke has always been very good at that. You look back at Jordan Rhodes, you know, experienced championship players, he wants to be playing game time, but seemingly happy to just play their part. And that's obviously man management. That doesn't happen easily. These are motivated young men who want to be maximising the returns from their career. But I think deep down Jordan will know that if he does just be patient and play his part when he's needed, he will be a Premier League footballer in a couple of months, which is massive for him. The breakaway goal, lovely header from Hugel to clear the corner, I think it was from Birmingham, or free kick. Lucas Roop finds pace from somewhere, and I've been harsh on Lucas Roop, and I'm glad he's got that assist because I think he needed that. So brilliant from him, and Ollie Skip hits into the back of the net. The best loan signing I think Norwich have made in a long while, and we've made some cracking loan signings over the years, but he's just different class. I mean, really good. I know a lot of Tottenham fans watch the channel now, and you've got yourself a player there in Ollie Skip. Just dogged, the tenacity is off the charts, his range of passing is superb. He's just there. You don't notice how he gets there, but as soon as there is a sniff of danger, he's there. He's like a really well-drilled cleaner. You spill a bit of your orange squash and he or she is there to clean it up. Brilliant. Brilliant. Great. It's great to see him get the goal. And then that was it. 3-1. Norwich go 10 points clear. Of course, Brentford have a game in hand. Swansea have 3 games in hand. So you would have thought that margin will be lessened. But for me, as I say, the biggest win of the season for Norwich City. Because we were up against it for large periods. And there was pressure on us. And we're tired. And we were on a boggy pitch. The list goes on. But champions find a way, and I think that's what we will be come the end of the season. And you might be saying, oh Jack, you're getting carried away, don't jinx it. I don't care. Being a football fan is all about getting carried away. I hate it when people make other people feel bad for getting carried away. And I'm sure one day it will backfire, and maybe it will be this season. But if you can't get excited about Norwich City being 10 points clear at the top of the table in a global pandemic, What are you going to get excited about? I'm excited. I think we're witnessing a really, really brilliant Norwich City team play wonderful football under a head coach who's one of the longest serving in Britain, who's already taken us up. And yeah, he's taken us down. But I think he's going to do it again this season. I've got good vibes after last night. So I raise my coffee to Daniel Farker and the boys. I raise my coffee to all of you watching at home. I cannot wait to all get in a pub and drink to this Norwich City team. Norwich City have won 3-1 against Birmingham, and I'm going to stop walking in circles and go back because I think I look like a mentalist at this point. I love you all. Have a wonderful day. See you all very soon. Bye bye.